Guys, happy Monday to you all, and welcome back. It's the Dr. Cloud Show. We're starting a new week, and I am happy to be here with you. As always, I'm always happy to be with you guys. As I told you, you know this. You're the best tribe in the world. You're out there fighting the war against dysfunction, one dynamic at a time. You're getting healthy, and you're changing, and you're growing, and the all the dysfunctional people are not getting to you like they used to as much, and we're getting better and better, right? So that's cool. So I'm happy to be with you as always. I'm also really happy to be back with you because if you are a regular listener, you know I was gone last week after what day was it? All week, I think, because I had another total knee replacement on Tuesday morning. And if you've ever had one of those, if here's like a walk in the park and here's a total knee replacement, not kind of the same. So I was recouping last week and still am. It'll be a while, obviously. But there have been so many of you that have sent messages and emails, and you've gone to our info site and customer service email address, and you've sent the nicest messages, your prayers and your well wishes. Many of you knew last time I had some pain management issues, and this time your prayers were answered. It just had a really smooth. I mean, it's not easy, right? But really, really went well. So I'm still in it. I'm doing the physical therapy. If you've ever had one of these, you know the physical therapy is torture you sign up for. But it's really interesting. It's such a metaphor for life. You know, I talk a lot about good pain and bad pain. And bad pain is just worthless pain we have in our lives. It doesn't go anywhere, right? It's suffering at the hands of another person, and abuse or panic attacks, or addictions or whatever, and we're suffering. But every day we suffer, it's not like getting us closer to not suffering anymore. It's continuing down the same path. And that's kind of how it was when you have bone on bone in your knee. I got to where I couldn't walk, and I was suffering. I was in a lot of pain. That's worthless pain. But then you go into doing something about it. And, obviously I chose the surgical route, and that's painful too. Oh my gosh, what are my choices? Pain or pain? Well, yeah, pain, but the right kind of pain. And so when we do things, what I call good pain, hopefully what I'm experiencing now is good pain, because when I go to physical therapy, I have to move it. And each time I move it, though, it's really interesting. I think I'm going to die. And I mean, the best way I can explain it, if you've ever had a sprained ankle, you know how you have to be on crutches because you can't even touch it, put any kind of weight on it. Well, in physical therapy, it's like they push you into the sprained ankle. They push you into the pain because you're gaining, motion and range of motion. It's awful. But here's the coolest thing about it. Like, it is so bad, but the next day you can feel like yesterday I could move it that far. Today I can move it that far. Like, I gained space. And that is what our life is like. When you're working on an issue, see, issues take up the space of our lives. An anxiety disorder can make your life really smaller. A depression can really zap life. An addiction can zap life. Dysfunctional dynamics in a relationship make life smaller. And when we go through the pain of changing, and that's hard work, physical rehab is hard work, but emotional rehab, that is hard work also. Every bit as hard. It's just a different kind of hard. You go into work through pain of abuse, or, the pain that's driving an addiction or whatever it is, that's really, really hard. But each time you do it, it's like going to the physical therapist. Each time I do it, I'm gaining my life back. And that's my encouragement to you. We talk about some stuff on this program that is really hard to do. Having difficult conversations, or going and looking at some wounds you never looked at, or taking some risks, or building some skills. And that's really hard to do. It's painful. But if we're going down the right path, that pain leads to gain. And so that's kind of, hopefully, I hope that's what I'm doing. I'm so tired of pain. It's been, oh my gosh, I have had bad knee pain for I think it's about 5 years. My wife says it's longer than that. It's limited me. But anyway, I hope this is the end. Got one knee done last year. My surgeon did a great job. My left knee, I have no pain after a year. And my right one, hoping same thing happens. So thanks for your prayers. Let me give the number, 844-940-2774. 844-940-2774 is the number. 844-940-2774 to get on the show. And you can call me. A couple of announcements. We are, we're coming into the holiday season, which also, in the big world out there, is that season of sales, right? We got the Black Friday coming up here, and we are offering, I don't know if you're just tuning in, if you don't know this, we have a lot of stuff to offer in terms of our whole digital platform, where you can go on and there are lessons and courses and specific webinars and everything on just kind of all things life in the clinical arena: depression, anxiety, stress, addictions, dealing with people, trying to help people that have them when they're in your family, what to do, relationship issues, marriage and parenting and dating and extended family. All of those issues are on there. And performance, reaching our goals and dreams and getting where we want to get in life. It's all there on a platform called boundaries.me. And we offer that in a lot of different ways. Well, we are offering the best deals of the year that we've had coming up, and you can save a ton on everything we offer. The webinars, the whole bit. And we're going to be announcing a lot of new offers for you. So don't miss out on this. If you're not on our email newsletter list and you don't want to miss out, you can sign up to stay informed by just going to boundaries.me, put your email address in there, and then we'll send you all the info. There's a lot of different ways to do boundaries.me, and we've constructed, we think will be a really, really helpful way for you to find everything that you need. Okay, so let me see what's my team is telling me here. Okay, that we're getting some calls coming in. Everybody, come, join us. We don't have a show if we don't have you. I like to sit here and rant, and every now and then I know I'm bad. I'll start ranting on some things, but I'd rather talk to you. So 844-940-2774 is the way to do that. And then we always have a thought for the day before I go to the callers. Today, our thought for the day is normalizing recovery. Normalizing recovery. What do we mean by that? Well, I have noticed, I bet you've noticed this too. I bet you've seen this in your family. I bet you've seen it in your circle of friends. I bet you've seen it in some churches. I bet you've seen it at the place you work. That there are some people who think that kind of you live life and life's sort of normal, and then the people have problems, right? I mean, they have issues. They might have an addiction, for example, or whatever it is. And it's more than just a regular struggle, it becomes a real issue. Okay. And so then they go into something called recovery or therapy, or they get on a growth path or something. And what they do, and I'm gonna just use recovery as an example because that's a structured, kind of easy way to look at this. When somebody's an addict, they go into a recovery program. So what they do is they go into a program, right? And they have to work the program. Then we kind of like build up this kind of way of thinking that, okay, well, there's the healthy people, and then there's the people that need the program. Well, he goes to AA or goes to Celebrate Recovery or NA or SA, or they go to therapy or whatever it is because they need the program. All right. Here's what's the kind of the news break on this. And here's what I really want you to get. Is sometimes people are looking at, they got some issues, but they don't want to go into the program, right? I'd rather like eat some supplements to make this go away or go gluten-free or something. I don't want to go into the program or therapy or whatever it is. Here's what's so fascinating to me, and this is kind of the thought for today. Guess what the people in the program, the people with the problems, the issues, guess what they're doing, those abnormal people? Guess what they're doing, those unhealthy people that need the program, those dysfunctional people that need the program. Now, I'm not saying they are. That's what people think. Guess what they're doing? They're doing what normal people do. In other words, people that have really thriving lives, normal people. Let me just dissect a 12-step program, for example. Normal people, even if they're not in the program, they do the same things the people in the program are doing. People that have normal, thriving lives and are not in denial, they do the same things that people in therapy are doing. Now, maybe not as deeply and maybe not as with as much specific focus on some area. But all we're talking about when you go into the program of getting well is what we're really talking about is living a normal life. Let me give you a great example of this. Sometimes people want to lose weight. All right. So then they have to go on, you have to change their diet, right? And then they have to start exercising, moving, going on walks. And they have to start maybe sometimes processing some feelings because those become triggers sometimes. And they need a good support system to kind of do that with, because we know those behaviors are sustained by being around people that do those things. Oh no, now I got to do the program. Well, here's what's interesting. You look at people with, healthy weights by and large. I know there's some extremes, so don't send me the email saying there are other issues. There are physical issues and metabolic issues and thyroid issues and all that. But I'm just talking about in general. You look at the people that don't have weight problems. What do? Wow, they look a lot like the people that are on the program, don't they? They walk every day. They talk about their feelings. If you look at what they eat, they order a salad with a piece of fish on it. They eat vegetables and they don't eat all this crap and processed foods. I see this with my wife. It's like when because sometimes I just, I'll kind of go up and down with my travels and all that. And if ever, I want to get my weight to certain certain place, I'll start to do all these draconian things, which it feels like to me. And then I look at her and I go, well, this is kind of what she does all the time. This is her life. I feel like I'm on a program. That's the way she lives, right? And this is what you see with people when they talk about you don't go on a diet, it is a lifestyle change. And that's what we know is sustainable. Diets aren't sustainable, and just 30 days in rehab thinking like you're going to get an injection. No, what you do in 30 days of rehab is you change and start to get on a different path, which you continue. So the short version of this is, if you want to be at a certain place in life, okay? If you want to be healthy, if you want to be financially stable, if you want to have good relationships, all of that, all of us, then we don't just take a pill to magically make it happen. We do what the people do that end up with those results. I mean, that is one of the biggest learnings I ever got in life, was that most of the things I want in life, I mean, are pretty normally achievable. But the people that have them, I could see, in a lot of areas back then, they did things differently than I did. And I had to start doing them the way they did them. And then I started getting different results. It's sort of like, if you're going to learn to play golf, if you watch all the tour players, there are some idiosyncrasies that all of them have. But if you look at the hitting area, like from right when you're coming into the ball to about right when you pass it, they're all in the same place. They all do the same thing through the hitting area. If you look at people that don't have car wrecks a lot, I'm not talking about accidents, you know that. But this is why you have driving records that actually mean something. Then they don't have 8,000 speeding tickets, and they don't drive on the wrong side of the road, and they don't drive while they're drinking and a bunch of other stuff. So I guess what I'm trying to do is let's normalize recovery. If you take that, like I said a moment ago, take the AA structure, for example. Oh, they're in the program. Well, what the heck is the program? They're admitting that they have a problem. Okay. Well, that's what normal people do. You see normal people going, you know what, I got this issue. And they can sit down and talk to a friend. I got this problem. And they admit that they're not able to solve it, admitting that we were powerless. Step one, right? And then they go, I can't solve this on my own, so I'm going to reach out to this group. Well, that's what normal people do. They reach out to somebody to help them. And then they have a moral inventory. In other words, they don't look out there blaming everybody else. They look at themselves first. Like we talk about here, resolving dysfunction one dynamic at a time, so the dysfunctional people don't have the power that they used to have with you. And then you can just go down all the steps, and they go to the meeting and they process stuff. They talk about what happened that day, and they're confessing where they went wrong, and they're confessing, where they could have done it differently, and they're they're turning their will over to God, asking him, help me do better. And they're processing pain that happened to them in the past and all this. That's not just the program. That ought to be our normal lives. And when you look at people that are thriving, that's what normal people do. So you may know some people that you think are thriving and they don't live that way. Just wait for the crash, because it's coming. And when they crash, then they'll go into the program, which basically means they'll start to live a normal life. Admitting you have issues, admitting you're struggling, admitting that you need help, reaching out to God and others, processing the issues, learning new ways, putting them into practice, forgiving and reconciling and making amends, reaching out to help other people. That's what they call recovery. That's what I call normal life. If you look at one of my favorite verses, which is basically the whole New Testament, is about those processes. They're all the way through there. And that's what we're told to do in the normal life of faith. Okay, let's go to Charity, who watches on YouTube, who's calling us from Florida. And Charity, welcome to the Dr. Cloud Show.
Hi, Dr. Cloud. It's Charity.
Hey there. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, and I'm partially doing wonderful because of you. I called a couple months ago and was able to talk to you, and you guys did an episode, Coming Off Less Critically with Your Spouse, episode 223, about our conversation. And I just wanted to thank you for that and let you know how the progress was going, that we've had a lot of good progress.
And that is so heartwarming.
Yeah, and, you know, especially getting close to the holidays, and we're about to have another baby, so it's just in time.
Now, were you being critical towards him? Is that what was happening?
Well, to be honest, I think what was happening is I was making what I thought were neutral comments, and he would feel criticized. And I was really stuck because it was getting to the point where it almost became like a daily, every single day thing.
Yeah,
and
that's a very common thing for men's brains to do.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Well, it felt a little excessive. I didn't think it was quite normal.
No, you're right. I mean,
but that's good to know that all men struggle with it. That's probably
well,
true.
I didn't say all men, but a lot. You know, it
a lot. The ones that care about how their wife feels.
So did he start to hear it differently? Is that what happened?
Well, when I had called you, you did some role playing with me and kind of helped me to understand to lead with empathy. And when he, you know, I say something and he responds like, "Oh, you didn't even notice I did this," and I'll stop and say, "It sounds like you're feeling criticized right now." You know, yeah. And so we talked about it. I kept bringing it up, and then we had a couple of conversations about maybe this would be a really good thing to talk to a counselor about, because I think it stems from his parents being super hard on him growing up.
Yeah, sure.
And so he hasn't felt comfortable with me going to counseling, but he's been going on his own, which he hates, but he always feels great when he comes back.
Tell him I totally understand. I was talking about that. But that's how physical therapy feels. I hate going, but I feel better afterwards, right?
Yeah. And so we've been it was rough first few counseling times he went, but it's been a couple of months and it's been really great. And then the other day I said something and it set off a trigger and he stonewalled me.
Oh.
And that used to really make me feel bad about myself. But because I had the talk with you, I realized he has a deep hurt issue here. It doesn't even have anything to do with me. And he stonewalled me because of the way he was raised. And so I went to him and I said, he closed the door. I was on one side, he was on the other. And I said, I think you can hear me, and I just want to say I'm not here to yell at you. I love you. I'm your wife. I'm on your side. I'm not going to yell at you. I know your parents might have yelled at you and then didn't talk to you the rest of the day, but I really, I want you to be happy. So I'm going to talk to you through the door. And can you please tell me how I hurt your feelings? And let's discuss this. I really care about you.
Okay, stop.
Yeah.
Stop. I just want people to hear.
Okay.
I just want people to hear one thing you just did. It was amazing. Well, a bunch of things. You pursued him very positively, but here's what you said. I want to understand how I hurt your feelings. Right? You said something like that, right?
Right.
What you did not say was, you don't understand. I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. You didn't try to justify what you had done. What you did was try to understand how he felt.
Right.
I wish if we could put that in the drinking water, then the world would change. I'm not kidding. Everybody goes in trying to convince somebody, oh, I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. I didn't mean it that way, this, that, and the other. That can come later.
Yeah.
But what you did was you actually said, tell me how I hurt your feelings. I want to understand. I want to know what your pain is. That was huge.
The reason I was able to do that is something you said before stuck with me. You said before you seek to be heard, seek to hear the other person first, because the once they feel heard, then you can try to be heard yourself. But he wasn't in a place where he was emotionally able to hear, because he just had such deep hurt that he's been trying to work out. And so anyways, like the stonewalling has been happening a lot less frequently, and having the talk with you really helped me to not feel, because I used to get really sad when he would lock me out. But I realized it's not even about me. He's hurting. He's really hurting. And so what you said really helped me. So I thank you for that. And the stonewalling happens a lot less frequently, and we make up a lot faster. And
wow.
And so I don't know if you had any extra like next steps for us, but I feel like the progress is going well. But if you had any follow-up like suggestions, I'm more than happy. Like I just love listening to your show, but I'm like, but things are going great. So I actually don't know if I have questions, but we're working on what you gave me homework to do.
When's the baby due?
November 30th, number 4.
November 30th. Wow, that is soon.
Yeah.
How long ago did you call me?
About 2 months ago, and then you guys kind of clipped it and made that other episode a month ago.
I got you. Okay, this is well, congratulations on all the great progress. What I want everybody to hear from this is one of the things that they've done a lot of good things here. But one of the things they've done is they've gotten out of a loop. They've gotten out of a cycle. And the cycle is somebody gets triggered and they get hurt. And then the other one does things that either don't help or take it in the wrong direction, which further gets hurt, and they do other stonewalling and other behaviors. They just go in this circle. It's like, and what Charity has done is she stepped out of the circle and stopped repeating the things that keep it going. And what she did do is she does something that actually will 99% of the time not hurt anything. And a great percentage of the time, not only will it not hurt anything, it really helps. And that just is to stop and put the brakes on your side of things and just try to understand, how did I hurt you? I really want to know. And don't try to defend yourself. See, we judge ourselves on our intentions. I didn't mean to, but other people judge us on what actually happened. Even if we didn't mean to, that's how it felt to them. And it doesn't mean that we agree. It means that we care enough to understand. Who cares who's right? What matters is how can you're in a bad place. How can I reach out and try to help you get into a good place? So, having said that, Charity, I'll give you your next homework assignment.
Okay, yay! I'm excited.
Okay, say, you know what? We are doing so well in, when we do this loop and this, that, and the other. And maybe we're already doing it, but here's a good thing. Let's sit down now. Do this at a time when nothing bad is happening. Each of you share, what is your most sensitive hurt spot? You know how people talk about love languages?
Yeah.
You ever heard that? Like, my love language is this or that, and if somebody does this, I really feel loved. Well, let's flip that and say, what's your most vulnerable, if anything close to hits that button, like hurts the worst? And for him, it sounds like it might be criticism. I don't know. But you guys and then talk a little bit about where do you think that started? Where's the original kind of wound about that? And just listen and tell your story to each other about what that was like, and then just care. Okay. And then question 2 would be, what can I do that would be the best way to never really step on that wound? And try to understand and get a path. And then number 3 would be, and if I do step on it, which accidentally I may do sometime, what's the best thing I can do when it happens? Those 3 things be a pretty good assignment. All right?
That sounds great, Dr. Claude. I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to share with you too, after my first baby, something popped in my knee and it swelled up like a balloon. And my doctors were telling me, let us know when you want knee surgery. And I was like, well, I was only in my early 30s at the time, or 30. And I tried several chiropractors, but I ended up going to one in San Diego he did an adjustment on my feet, and it took the swelling down probably like 80-90%. And then after that, I just was praying and declaring healing in the foot in Jesus' name, or in the knee, and my knee recovered fully. So if you haven't tried that foot adjustment, I would recommend it.
I have I've had knee problems for various things: skiing, motorcycle wrecks, karate, basketball, and golf. Basically, are the culprits. And had a lot of chiropractic work. Oh my gosh! We don't have enough time. Yes, I've had it all. I've had it all.
Well,
I had
and
knee surgery on my other knee 25 years ago for the first one. But I thank you. Wow. Thanks for sharing what's going on with you. I think I got 2 bionic fake knees now. So what can go wrong? I have fake knees. they're made
now they'll be strong forever.
They'll be strong forever, or at least for 15 or 20 years. Okay, you got to run. Thanks for your call, and go try that.
Thank you.
Call me back and tell me what happens, and good luck with that. Hope you have a good delivery and a healthy baby, and all that turns out really, really well. Let's go to Ann calling us from Facebook. By the way, you can see the program, hear the program, listen to the program on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and also you can download it as a podcast, wherever podcasts are offered to you. Ann, what's going on?
Hi. Oh, my goodness. I know a few weeks ago you said, just call and say hello to me. So this is me telling you that this year, one of the things I'm most thankful for is you, Dr. Cloud, because I found you probably episode 20
You must have had an
at the beginning.
If I'm as good as your year gets, what has happened to you, Ann? It must have been terrible.
No, I tell you, I listen to you so much, probably about 4 or 5 days out of the week, that my husband says, "Are you listening to Lord Cloud again?" Yeah,
well, I'm glad it's been helpful. What has been helpful to
Very
you about
helpful.
it?
I think just realizing that it's okay to look back and find my weak areas and how my weak areas may be not only affecting myself but others around me, and owning them and setting my own boundaries for things I need to change, and then setting boundaries to where I'm not as affected by other people's stuff, and realizing what's my responsibility and what's not my responsibility. I guess that's how I would sum it all up.
Those are good things. All good things. That's kind of working the program, or that's what normal people do, right? we kind of don't have to be perfect. We admit we're not. We got issues. We own them. We realize, gosh, it could be affecting other people. We ask the other people, how can I do better? And then sometimes they say you can do better, and they blame us, and we go, well, that's not really my issue. That's really yours. And that's a pretty good program you just outlined.
Well, you've helped me with that, so I'm really blessed by that, and I thank the Lord for your influence in my life. Seriously, I'm trying to work with someone right now that is. It's my daughter, and I love her very, very much. She is a little bit of a sensitive soul, and when I've tried to lovingly help her with some of that sensitivity, she'll say, I used to think it was a weakness. Now I really see it as a strength, because if I am sensitive, then it helps me with my sensitivity towards others and what they may or may not be thinking or feeling, which I agree with that too. But how do you keep the balance of that? Like,
how old is she?
She's 25. 25.
Huh. So when you say you want to help her with her sensitivity, what would be an example of sensitivity that you feel like she needs help with that?
Okay. Perfect example. Just this week, she had a friend who was misunderstanding some things that she was saying. So she was trying to help her friend understand better and trying to explain the situation a little more. Her friend got upset with her and blocked her. Phone calls, Facebook, everything. And so instead of realizing, you can only give truth, and they have to receive or not receive the truth that you're giving. They have to be willing to communicate or work through something if they have questions or don't understand. Instead, they chose to just cut it all off, And so, of course, she's feeling hurt, upset, badly. They weren't close friends. They were casual friends, but something came up that was a misunderstanding, and she was trying to, like I say, work through it. So she was very upset by that and called me, and understandably so, but it has its place. It shouldn't be something that, over a moderate friendship that kind of, I think, continues on and holds you down for 3 or 4 or 5 days, to be able to just reach out to them and say, hey, I'm here if you want to talk, or maybe give that message through a friend, but then you kind of have to let that go, So, but she'll stew over that and really, really be upset by that for quite a while. So that's the kind of sensitivity, I guess I mean.
Okay. So, and then she had that situation. So what did you do that she found not helpful and said, no, it's good that I'm this way?
Oh, well, so she spoke to another friend. And I'll get back to that question because I do hear what you're asking. She spoke to another friend.
That was the question that you called with, right? That you try to help her see it, but then she comes back and says, no, it's good that I'm this way because it helps me understand people.
Yeah.
Or did I misunderstand?
She doesn't give me No, you've got it. I was going to add more to the little bit of the story, but yes, going back to that. So if I say to her, well, maybe you're being a little too sensitive about that, or it's hurting you too long or too much, maybe you're just being a little too sensitive. If I use those words, then she'll say, no, sensitivity is good, because she sees it as whole package. It's okay that I'm overly sensitive about things, because that sensitivity helps me be aware if ever I'm saying or doing something to somebody else. Like, I would never do what this friend did to me, because I'm more sensitive than that to how that would make others feel, because I'm feeling it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So what's the question? I think I have some answers to questions you may not be asking. So what's the question?
So how do I help her be sensitive to what she's saying towards other people and thinking about how they're going to interpret it, at the same time not being so devastated by her own sensitivity?
Okay, let me go back to your intervention with her. Okay, she called you. I want you to be her, because what you said was, well, you shouldn't be so sensitive. This shouldn't take you down a bad path for 3 or 4 days. You got to let it go. That's kind of what you said, right? Can't let it get to you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you be her. I'm going to be you.
Okay. Yep. I love when you role play. Mom, I had this terrible thing happen today, and this friend was saying this and this to me, but I wanted to make sure that they understood, okay, but yes, this and this. So I tried to be very clear to them, and they made a snarky response, and they've blocked me from Facebook. They've blocked me from texting them or calling them, and I just can't believe they would act that way to me, and it's pretty upsetting.
Wow, that's brutal. She won't talk to you anymore?
No, not right now.
She
Maybe
just
never.
shut you out, like totally, like you're done?
Yep. I guess so. Just said, nope, that's not the case, and then wouldn't let me respond and just shut me all down.
Well, that's a terrible feeling.
It is. It is.
Tell me.
I'm pretty upset about it.
Yeah, what did it do to you?
Well, I was upset, so I called another friend, and then when I called that friend to talk about it, they said, "Oh, well, maybe you were part of that problem," and then now I'm upset by what they said. So people I'm upset with.
So you got stonewalled, and then you reached out for help, and then you got kind of blamed for the whole thing?
Yeah, I did. So I'm really upset about it all. It's frustrating to me.
Well, is it just frustrating, or are you hurting?
No, I'm hurting. I can't believe friends would treat me that way if they're real friends.
Yeah, I can't either. That's terrible. I mean, you were trying to help, right?
I was trying to be very clear.
You must feel really misunderstood.
All got turned around back on me.
Yeah, you must feel really misunderstood by her. You're trying to help.
Yeah, I do. I feel misunderstood.
That's gross. Wait, tell me, how can I help you? What would feel good?
Oh, I don't know. There's nothing that can really help me because I'm upset. This friend told me that I shouldn't have been handling it this way, and I'm upset that this friend is like not being a true friend and cutting me off. And now I've got all these tests I have to study for, and the whole thing's going to be upsetting to me. And I don't think I can put this behind me because it's just so bad.
When's your test?
In a couple of days, but this is going to be bothering me for the next week, probably.
Wow. So we need to figure out a way to kind of sort of carve out some way to put this off to the side while you can get your test done. It seems like the first thing.
Yeah, well, that'd be good. I don't know how to do that.
Why don't you come study over here?
It's still going to be on my mind. That's what I don't know how to solve. How do I get this off my mind? So
we'll see. Sometimes to take a space where we're going to say, okay, I'm not going to think about it when I'm in there. I'm going to study and then go out of there, and then we can make some time to talk about it if you want, but sometimes to compartmentalize something for a time period is really good. That's one thing we could do. But let me ask you this. Why do you think it hurts so bad?
Well, she would say because she's had a lot of really, really big hurts recently in the last year or so. She's pretty tender, very, very tender.
So it wasn't just this; it's a lot of other stuff that it was tapping into.
Yes,
right.
Probably so. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm laughing. My daughter just walked past, and I didn't know what was happening here. My college
Well,
kids
is
are
it with?
home from school. So
Well, I have
you
to know.
said
Did they paint Finley's nails red and green? They were asking on
you
Instagram, and I said red
you're
and green, red and green. That was me.
you're gonna have to go to Finley the Dobie to find out on Instagram, right?
Okay. All right.
So, sweetheart, you've had a lot of stuff happen this year. This is just like one more stab to an already existing wound.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, now we don't have time to continue this. Okay,
Right.
but what are you noticing that I'm doing?
You're
That's
empathizing
different?
with what she's feeling
Yes.
and trying to help her know where to put the feeling, at least for the time being.
Yeah. And that second one, you can give practical advice, okay? But I have never, ever seen, I mean, certainly maybe once, but by and large, to tell somebody they shouldn't feel some way, that you're being oversensitive, it's kind of like looking out the window and it's raining and we want it to be sunshining and saying, it shouldn't be raining today. I had a good day planned. Point being,
Okay.
Now I'm not saying what you're calling oversensitivity, I'm not saying that's something in this way that she wants to retain forever. Now she says it's a good thing because it helps her, and there's truth to that, but I'm gonna get to that. What we're talking about here is it's not good that somebody she really doesn't know and doesn't, isn't that close to, and this and other. It's not good that somebody like that can have the power to send her into a bad place for a week. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying
I
that's
agree.
good. It's raining. But just because it's not good that it's raining doesn't mean that it's not raining. So what you've got to do is you've got to accept the reality that while it would be better if she could just shake this off, and you want to help her to do that, we're going to get there. She can't just shake it off that in that moment.
Okay.
So what you got to do first is you've got to really go into the empathic understanding of why it was so hard, and then you're going to get into what's happened this year, and then she's going to feel really understood, and that is going to give her the ego strength to let it go, but not until then. So I want you to change the first step to the one of empathy, and then we can think of all sorts of practical ways to solve this problem. And she's going to ultimately get to the place where she's not that great a friend anyway, and process this and change the thinking. But it's very difficult to change thinking from a hurt vacuum. So what she's got to do is not be in a vacuum and have you understand it, and then you guys can be partners, to work on this together. Also, I think she ought to be getting some help with sounds like she's been through a lot.
Yeah, she has, and she does need help. She's in a doctorate program, and as soon as she's through that, I don't know how. It's been by the grace of God that she's gotten through the doctorate program.
What's the doctorate?
But when she gets through it, it's physical therapy at Baylor, and it is their advanced 3 years crammed into 2. And this girl, by God's grace, is carrying a B. she's
Tell
killing
her,
it. I'm
look,
so proud of her.
I just had a knee replacement. Send her to my house. She can do my physical therapy, and I'll help her with this sensitivity thing.
Oh, I'd be coming with her for sure.
We'll barter service. Okay, well, I hope that's helpful to you. Thank you. What's
very helpful. It's very helpful, and yeah, we're going to probably gift her with the sisters and I are going to gift her with your program when she gets through this school year, and hopefully next year she can get back on track with some healing that she needs to do. But it is my joy and pleasure to speak with you, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a wonderful man of God.
Well, you're welcome, and let me just say this. I think of oversensitivity. It's. Oh, I'm going to say one more thing. What she said about it's good that she has this. It's good that she has it in the 2 Corinthians 1 sense, which is one of my favorite verses.
Favorite verses?
Yes. It says this. It says, we comfort others with the comfort that we have received from God.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that once we've been through something and we've worked through it, we're going to have great empathy for somebody that goes through
Mm-hmm.
things. Now, I don't have to continually go through it all my life to have that empathy. So I want her to retain her caring empathy for others, but I don't want her to have to be suffering from, quote, oversensitivity her whole life. I want her to have thicker skin. And I don't want her to have a splinter in her foot so that every time she takes a step, it hurts, which is what you're saying. You're saying, you know, walking across the sidewalk, that shouldn't be hurting you. Well, she's got a splinter in her foot. So it does.
Right.
Now, you're right.
Right.
Walking down the sidewalk shouldn't hurt normally. But if you got a splinter in your foot, walking down the sidewalk hurts. It's like having a sunburn.
Right.
Somebody comes up and slaps you on the back. Hey, how you doing? Ah! You're oversensitive, right? Well, you shouldn't be oversensitive. That shouldn't hurt. I've got third-degree burns on my back. So that's what you have to take into account with oversensitivity. There's a reason for it. It doesn't lead to good places because it does a lot of things, but there's a reason for it, and it's hurtful for people. It hurts people when they experience it, and we need to resolve it, and then they can empathize with people who have it. Okay? Look at it that way.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your call.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Where are we? Let's go to Danielle, who listens on Facebook, calling us from Jersey. Hey, Danielle.
Mr. Cloud, thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. I want to hear that Jersey accent.
I don't know if I have a Jersey accent. Maybe.
Did you grow up there?
I don't know if I say. Yeah, maybe
Okay.
if I say drawer. I don't know.
It might come out. Well, tell me how I can help you. How can I help you?
Dr. Cloud, I am having like a faith crisis right now. I've been through a lot in my life. I can identify.
Did you say
the last caller.
you have it's a little muffled. Are you talking directly into the phone?
Is that better?
That is better. Did you say a faith crisis? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I've been through a lot in my life, and I've worked a lot on my issues from childhood, growing up, through an addiction, some narcissistic tendencies. I've never been diagnosed, but I feel like I suffer from a lot of neurosis and sensitivity, oversensitivity. And I've done a lot of work, like I said, on myself throughout the past 25 years, or 21 years I've been in recovery. I've gone through the
What was your addiction?
I'm sorry?
What was your addiction?
Well, I struggled with alcohol and drugs, but my main addiction has always been like these lustful thoughts that I go into and fantasize in my mind, and just I go into like these blasphemous thoughts and just these like really bad thoughts where I just I go into myself and I retreat. And I'm at this place in my life, and I've been here before in my recovery, where I just feel like I've hit a wall, and I feel like here we are again. I've done all this work, and it's like God is trying to peel back another layer of the onion, and I'm just having this tantrum, like I don't want to do this because this hurts so bad.
Wow.
And I don't want to, like, it's another part of growing up. Like, I feel like I need to grow up in my life. I'm 40, I'm going to be 46. And I don't never really feel like I've really grown up. I feel like I've always been very emotional, very sensitive. I've led with my feelings a lot. And I just don't know what else to do. And it's causing me to really like be angry at God and have anger toward him, and just really feel like I don't even know if I want to be a Christian anymore, because it's just like, this is just a lot. And then there's a lot of complacency. There's just a lot of stuff that's coming up. And I feel like I've been in this for a really, really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And
well,
I don't know how to find the strength to keep going.
Yeah, it sounds awful. Like you're kind of in this closed circle and nowhere to go, except further inside where everything's dark.
Yeah.
Is that right? You said you feels like God is asking you to do the next peeling of the onion and asking you to grow up. What did that mean? What does it seem like he's doing?
Well, right now I have a very grueling schedule with work and school, and I feel like I'm constantly on the go. And I was called into a meeting at my job, which didn't go over so well, and I just really felt very exposed. I felt very ashamed. It brought back a lot of that stuff from my childhood, and I felt when I walked out of there like I just got a spanking.
Oh no! Were they? Sometimes let me give you 3 or 4 possibilities. Sometimes people are mean in the way they give feedback, right? It's not helpful. So it is kind of like a spanking. Other times when we're in certain places, like any kind of negative feedback can feel like it's spanking. I don't need this right now. Everything in life is bad. This is one more thing. Sometimes we recognize it feels horrible, but I know I have a tendency to feel that way. So I know maybe it's not. I've got an issue with this. Which of those does it feel like? What happened in that meeting?
It feels like a combination of both.
So they were really kind of jerky.
Yeah, I think so. And
that sucks.
Yeah. And I feel like I want to be happy, but I don't know where to get the willingness to, like, I'm saying I want to be happy, but my actions are showing something, or my attitude is really showing something different. Like I'm in that I feel like I kind of think like the glass is half empty. And I just want to be somebody who's able to think clearly with a sound mind and not be ruled by my emotions, and just allow, just to be a happy person. But I don't know how to find that willingness to do that, because I'm saying it, but like I don't feel like I'm doing it.
Well, what is it what do you feel like you're not doing that you ought to be doing?
Okay, so for example, I'm listening to you and I'm listening to you talk, and I've had amazing counselors in my life like you, very, very, strong believers and love the Lord, and have really helped guide me through a lot of my abuse in my past. And I feel like they've invested so much in me and poured so much into me to help me. And I feel like I'm supposed to be at that point where I could think rationally, think logically, think clearly.
Stop. Are they saying that, or are you saying that?
No, I'm saying that. I feel like sometimes I'm just too much for people. I feel
are
like
they
I'm
saying
just too
that
much
you're too much for them, or are you saying
that? No, they've never. My counselors never said that to me, but I have had people that have like treated me like that. Like, oh, here we go again, making mountains out of molehills.
Yeah. Oh, brother, Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
Where did your needs become bad? Did I lose you?
I guess when I was younger, I was always like silenced, and my voice was silenced whenever I like asked for something, or whenever I asserted myself or tried to express myself.
Yeah. When I listen to you, and before I ask that question, I've been hearing this throughout a lot of things you're saying. What I hear is internally your needs are getting silenced in this circle, and you're, the glass is half empty, right? It's not, you're
Mm-hmm.
not at a place, you're not feeling good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is half empty. That's not bad. That's okay. If I'm in a tank and I'm looking up and saying, it's half empty in here, I need more gas, right? And then I say, I need more gas. I think I'm going to ask for some more gas. And as soon as I feel that need, it gets shut down. I should be farther along. God is telling me to grow up. The people around me say I'm too much for them, even though they're not saying that. Then you're caught in an internal prison. So I would start with finding, and I hope you're hearing me say it now. Your needs are the key. They're not the problem. Your needs are welcome. Your needs are the best thing you have.
Thank you for that.
You just have, that feels better, right?
Yeah, because I've always, my whole life growing up, like I said, I feel like my voice has always been silenced. And every time I've tried to ask for something, not every time, but when I was younger, most of the time growing up, whenever I was always bullied into silence, like with the sexual abuse.
Yes, and it's happening now. You're being bullied into silence internally, which keeps you locked in, which can't let you get to your need. Get your need out there where someone can meet it and where God can meet it. I don't know of I'm trying to think. I just don't know of anywhere where God sounds the way that the voices are saying in your head. I don't. Now, here's what's interesting. There is a story a lot like yours in the book of Job, where Job had some terrible, what happened to him, like you have.
Yeah.
And he didn't cause any of it. And his friends came to him and they gave him four groups of answers, among others, but there's four big groups that his friends came and said, you're not spiritual enough. You don't know God's word well enough. You're not spending enough time. There's a lot of versions of this, but they basically said, if you knew his precepts, okay. Secondly, they said, you've got to put the sin far away from you. Thirdly, they said, let your righteousness be your guard. Like, name it and claim it or something. And then there were three or four other ways in which they put this. But basically, here's the issue I want you to hear. Every one of those, which God came to them and said, you guys are all wrong, and you haven't spoken the truth of me like Job has. All Job did was complain.
Yeah, I complain a lot.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you know that your complaining is heard and loved and accepted.
It's not.
So it's unanswered complaining. And I'd like to see you find a few places where, do you have a therapist now?
I have a counselor, a pastoral counselor.
I'd like to see you find a good one, maybe it's him or her or somebody else, where you go talk about, you know what? sometimes I feel like I just need help. I just need some care. I just need somebody to understand me and not judge me. And I can't find that anywhere. And I'd like to make that the problem. So why don't we do what my favorite verses say do always, is blessed are the poor in spirit. See, when we need something, we can get something. But if needs are bad, babies starve to death.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of my favorite verses is in the Psalms when it says, David says, I am like a weaned child. The word wean in Hebrew, it means to have dealt bountifully with. In other words, this baby is so full of having their needs met that they're in a milk coma, burping all over the place. And that's when they say, okay, we're not going to give me more of that. It's time for a burger. But you haven't quite had that because it needs to get past this prison of judgment, internal judgment. So I've got to run. We're up against the clock, but I would start there. I would start by looking at how, when I'm feeling this way, watch for the trigger to judge your need and say, instead of judging it, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to go to a meeting, Celebrate Recovery support group, an AA meeting, whatever it is. I'm going to call my counselor. I'm going to get a couple of friends, but let that be a trigger to not join the judgment, but to reach out and begin to get bountifully dealt with. And then you're not going to have anything to complain about. But right now you're keeping yourself starving a little bit inside with the judgment that you've received from the outside. Now it's gotten on the inside.
That makes sense. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to gift you. We have a webinar about healing our brokenness. And there's a lot in there about especially the connection piece. And I want you to take a look at that. Okay. Thanks for your call.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You know, need is the most powerful tool that you have in your arsenal is hunger, desire. How does a baby get stronger? They suck. They take it in. They scream. And they're held. And it's one of my favorite verses says, a longing fulfilled, a need, a desire fulfilled, Proverbs says, becomes a tree of life, but hope deferred makes the heart sick. Tree of life. See, we get a need met, and, I got my need met. I feel better for a minute. Well, no, it's more than that. You just planted a tree inside of you that's going to give off fruitfulness and apples and oranges and stuff on an ongoing basis. That's why you love a baby and love a baby and love a baby, and then they turn into a little child, and you love the child and love it. And then what do? They don't need to be right there with mommy all the time anymore, because now they can run in the backyard and be by themselves. You know why? Because they're not by themselves. That desire and that hunger and meeting that need has been internalized, and now mommy lives on the inside. And it becomes a tree of life. That's why the Bible says, encourage one another. See, she's saying, when she first called, she said, I just need to be more courageous, right? I need to grow up. I need to be stronger. I need to suck it up. Man up. Woman up. It's like it's going to come from inside. That's not what the Bible says. It says that courage to woman up or man up has got to be encouraged. It's got to be put into you. Well, how does that ever happen if you never say, hey, I'm feeling a little scared here. I need some courage. And you have somebody that encourages. That's why every piece of research that's ever been done over and over and over and over and over again has said that health comes from, in, through, by, and for relationship. Our problem is ordering those relationships in a way that produces health and not pain. So get some people in your life that you can call them and say, hey, I need help. And they go, what do you need? You go, I don't know. I just need some help. Or what do you need me to do? Nothing. I just need some help. Okay, well, I'll come sit next to you on the curb. Okay, will you do that? Yeah, and then you sit on the curb for a while. And you go, okay, I'm fine now. What happened? I don't know. I just feel better. Well, here's what happened. It's like your heart's got two pipes going out and two pipes coming in. A lot of people's hearts, they're just pumping out outflow all the time. There's nothing ever flowing in, coming in. Wrote a book on this called The Power of the Other. And our need, there's a whole chapter in there about how our needs are the key. That's why the Bible says, blessed are the poor in spirit. That's why it says, in my weakness I am made strong. I will glory in my weakness, Paul said. It's why it says, confess your faults to one another, and then you get healed. So it says, confess your brokenness and everything to God. And then it says that God doesn't like despise a broken spirit. God is near to the brokenhearted. These are some of my favorite verses because over and 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 over. Weakness is the key to becoming strong. If you're not strong, how are you going to be strong in order to get strong? Now, I'm not saying you don't have to do anything. Of course you have to do stuff. I got a physical therapist showing up here in a few minutes. She's going to make me do stuff. We have to work to get our functioning back. But I can't do it on my own. Need help. Find that help, organize your life around that help, and things will get really, really better. Okay. Speaking of help, we have a lot of help for you. We got a ton of stuff, all sorts of courses and webinars and tips, and Boundaries.me is a platform where we have over 90 different courses on all the issues you hear us talk about. And this time of year, we go into our big sales time where we're going to be having some incredible stuff happen later this week, but you got to get the emails to be able to take part in those specials. So we're going to be offering a lot of stuff at, Black Friday, and the holidays are approaching, ways that you can gift to family members and friends and all that kind of stuff. But to do that, you have to get our email newsletter. We're offering our best deals of the year on Boundaries.me right now. And this Black Friday are going to be the big ones, and you can save a ton and find out ways to get everything we offer. So don't miss out. If you're not on our email newsletter list, then get on there. You can sign up by going to boundaries.me. All you got to do is put your email in there, boundaries.me, and then you'll find out how to get all this stuff. All right. It's always good to hang out with you guys. Thank you for your well wishes as I've just been through surgery, and I am doing way better than I expected to be doing at this point. I do have, if any of you have ever been through this, you know what it's like. I've been through it, and it was tough, but this one's not as hard. I don't think there was as much as my surgeon said last time. He had to do a lot of chiseling, had a lot of bone spurs. Taking the hammer and the shit. These guys are like carpenters. They go in there and, when they do a knee replacement, here's your knee, and they hack it off here and hack it off here, and then they hammer. Literally, I mean, go on YouTube and watch this stuff. then they hammer the implant into this bone, and then they hammer it into that bone, and they stick it together, and they say, well, simple procedure. Yeah, simple for you, Bubba. You just anyway, you feel all that a little later. But I'm telling you, they're getting really good at this. I mean, really, really good. My surgery last year, I have a knee that doesn't hurt anymore. Thank you, Dr. Barnes. And my surgery this year, I've got one and went through it, and it's just everything's been fine so far. Thank you, Dr. Snippy. Appreciate that. And thank you guys for your prayers and your well wishes in doing this. Okay. Hopefully, every now and then I'll hit a pain point and sort of, I hope that doesn't happen tomorrow because I'm planning on being right here, and I hope you are too. See you then. Bye-bye.